Listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Eric with American Business Systems and want to welcome you this afternoon. It is January the 15th, 2014, and today we're going to be talking about the 8 traits of a successful business owner, very specifically in medical billing. So again, we want to welcome you, and for those that we haven't said Happy New Year yet, Happy New Year to everybody. And I hope that things are going very well for you here at the beginning here of 2014. All right, let me see if I can, maybe Patrick, you unpause the screen there. I can get, there we go. Again, my name is Eric Auger. I'm the Director of Research and Development here at American Business Systems. And again, if you have not been on one of our webinars before, we want to welcome you. And then also to remind you that there is a little hand icon right there. We would like for you to click on that. That will ensure us that you can hear us this afternoon. We have checked our sound this afternoon, but again, we want to check with you to make sure that you can hear us. Okay, so I see some hands going up here. I see David, Doreen, Henry, Jeff, good to have you. Culdeep, good to have you. Monica, Richard, looks like we've got some other folks that are joining in. We've got, there's another David there. Adam, good to have you here this afternoon. And there are, again, some folks still piling in here. So thank you for responding back to us with the click of that hand there. Well, first of all, I want to take you through just who we are. Who is American Business Systems? And folks, I want to tell you that we are celebrating 20 years here. You can see that up in our left-hand corner right up here in our screen this afternoon. But for the last 20 years, we've been helping people just like yourself get into business, to have a business from home. A lot of people ask us, can I run this from my home? You absolutely can. You don't have to have a commercial office. But what you do need to have is a computer. And most of you that are on the today, you do know you have a computer, but it doesn't matter what platform that computer is. So you can see here that our platform can run on just about any platform that you see there, whether it's Mac or a regular PC or some type of tablet. We want to welcome you again and show you our website. A lot of you have not yet been to our website. If you haven't been there, it's absystems.com. And if you want to get more information, those big orange buttons here will get you into what's called our virtual brochure. When you get into that virtual brochure, that's a lot of information. You can see that in each of these sections, they're usually listed 1 through 10, and that will get you into very deep on whether you're looking into getting clients or training or whatever it might be there that you're looking for. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and that has been going on now for 2 solid years now. And so if you want to check us out there, you can certainly do that as well. Matter of fact, I had a gentleman ask me today, can I come by your office and visit with you? You're absolutely welcome to come to our office. Our corporate office is located here in Keller, Texas. It's at 5751 Kroger Drive here in Keller, Texas, which is just north of Fort Worth. We would love to have you. We'll arrange a way for you to get here and pick you up from the airport and get you over to our building. Folks, our next training workshop is actually next week. For those that are on the call, maybe already have signed up, we'll be here for next week. Thank you and congratulations for being with us here at ABS. But also for those that are looking to get into this business, you want to see here, come March the 3rd through the 7th is actually our next training class. So if you're doing your due diligence and you're looking for the next training date, that's the dates, the first week of March. This next week, we're actually giving away some iPads for all of those that are going to be here at the January training. We're celebrating our 20th year anniversary and giving away many iPads this next week. So for those that might still be right on the edge and you still can get off next week, you might want to join us to be a part of that in our celebration. I'm going to introduce you to Patrick Phillips. He's our CEO and founder of American Business Systems. Not only is he our founder, he is actually an author and a great speaker, has spoke all over the nation and at different types of organizations. But the 2 books I want to point out to you is the one on the left, How to Reprogram Yourself for Success, and then on the one on the right, The Cash Crunch to Cash Flow. This is a great book, especially for those that are looking to get in this business on just what we do here at ABS. And so you can also get these copies of the books on Amazon if you'd like. He is also a special writer, a special guest writer for people like Billing and Coding Advantage, and he's actually on the editorial board with them. And this is his most recent article, which was for the December-January 2014 edition, and it was entitled "How Doctors Can Cut Their Billing Costs Up to 50%." So if you have access to this, you'd like to get it, please just go out there and find it. Or if you'd like to get a copy of it, let us know. We'll see about getting you a copy of it. So really, without any further ado, let's bring Patrick on. Patrick, it's good to have you here this afternoon. And again, Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, Eric. We got a big crowd today. I think a lot of people are interested in finding out if they are suited to be business owners, huh?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Well, I thought we would just jump right in here first thing, Eric, by telling people if they want to type in questions during the webinar, they can certainly do that.
Absolutely. I'll be monitoring that throughout the presentation today. So, folks, if you do have any questions, as Patrick and I are going these different sections here today, just type in your question, and we'll stop whenever we can and take those questions. So, here we go.
All right, let's talk about the 8 traits of a successful business owner. Now, if you went out on Google and typed that in, you'd probably find there's lots of people who think there's different traits of successful business owners. I just happen to have taken this one from a recent issue of Entrepreneur's Startup magazine, and I thought they were good points, and I thought I would just try to relate these not only to people in general, because we know that everybody on the webinar today is not going to get involved with our business. They're just looking at us, doing their due diligence, probably looking at a dozen other things too. That's okay. We know that this business is not suited for everybody, just like, Subway sandwich shop is probably not something that I would get involved with, working with teenagers 80 hours a week who can't even clean their own rooms. So, it just depends on what your cup of tea is, I guess. But so I'll try to relate all of these traits to everybody so you get some value out of this, even if you're never going to, invest with us. But at the same time, I also have to relate it to the fact that these traits seem to fit pretty good for our particular business opportunity. So let's start with the first one. Successful business owners, according to Entrepreneur Magazine, have an uncanny knack for selecting the right industry at the right time.
Right.
Now, Eric, if you were getting into right now selling, let's say, pagers, that probably wouldn't be a good timing, would it?
No, I think that was already passed.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't want to be in the construction business right now, building new homes in certain parts of the country. I wouldn't want to be in the automobile industry probably, because for the investment, it seems pretty risky right now. So exactly. There are certain businesses that just seem to be, right for the time that we're in. Economically here in the United States, and with all that's going on in the healthcare field especially, this seems to be a good fit for some people. Let me show a picture here and ask the folks on the webinar today. And Eric, you might just monitor there in the question box and see if anybody can recognize who this group of people are. Let's see if anybody can type that into the question box there. Or maybe I should put it this way. There's somebody in this picture that's very famous. Let's see if anybody recognizes.
Anybody can type it in.
That very famous person.
I don't see anybody coming in just yet, so let's go ahead, Patrick.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, if you're looking in the bottom left-hand corner at that young man there, right there, you might could get you. Oh, now everybody's catching on.
Ron Davis says Bill Gates.
That's
Thanks,
right.
Ron.
Yeah, this was Microsoft back in 1975. Now, looking at this group of people back in 1975, I don't know that I would have invested in this company. Would you have, Eric? This is a kind of a shady looking group of people, isn't it?
Exactly. I don't know.
That's
how kind of strange characters.
That's how people dressed and wore their hair in the 70s. And but you know what? The neat thing is that everybody in this picture became a multimillionaire. They were the early founders with Bill Gates, starting his company with him. So was that good timing on their part? I'd say yes.
Exactly.
Then there was another thing that happened way back in, I think this was about 1903. There was a huge need out there. People were still riding horses and carriages and things like that. And somebody came along at the right time with this. And you probably guessed that was Henry Ford, back in 1903. Again, good timing for that product right there in the history of time. Same way here. This was back in 1911 when IBM decided that there was a need in the marketplace for a device called an all-electric writing machine. Don't you love that name? I'm glad they shortened that to typewriter at some point. So here's the point, guys, with these three illustrations. There is a window of opportunity for certain businesses, certain products in the marketplace. Are you looking at a business right now that happens to be at the right time in history for you to make a lot of money in that business? Well, one of the things that should be helping you think about this business in particular as to whether it's the right timing is what's called the Affordable Care Act, which is also known, Eric, as
Obamacare.
right. The president himself has referred to it as Obamacare, and it's kind of generally used that term. But it's actually the Affordable Care Act. So here's why that's good timing. For a lot of people getting into this business, let's take a quote here from Martin Willoughby. He is a serial entrepreneur and author of the book Zoom Entrepreneur and a business consultant. He says, regardless of what happens with Obamacare, I hope that you will seize on this opportunity to expand your thinking, to embrace the changes in the profession. He's talking about the healthcare profession, and find creative ways to seize the opportunities that come along with change. Eric, you found this quote, and I can't imagine anybody, I could have written this quote.
Exactly. And it's good to hear it from other people besides us. And I know that the ACA, Patrick, does scare people about getting into this business. There's no doubt. The whole thing about Obamacare, people not getting signed up, people getting signed up, how's this going to affect them? And I can just tell you from experience, I've actually did a demo with 2 doctors in the last couple of weeks here, and they're not thinking anything but how to get their money. That's what they're thinking.
Right.
And so this is with 2 licensees this week or the last couple of weeks that are, their doctors are looking for ways, how do I get paid now? And so I hope that the ACA or / Obamacare doesn't scare anybody away from this business. What you need to see it is, as Patrick is talking about, a moment to be seized. And I'm telling you, medical billing is right at the cusp of really exploding here, and really for those doctors that need help.
Yeah, and for those of you who might still have some questions about how that's going to affect this industry, you need to go back to our blog that Eric referred to earlier. Just go to our website there, and under news, there's a thing there called blog, and you'll see some older webinars, older, I mean just within the last couple of months, that Eric and I have done specifically on Obamacare, on the Affordable Care Act, to help ease some of those questions for you. But let me get back to a little chart here that I came up with, Eric, that I think this is how the ACA will affect the revenue cycle for doctors.
Sure.
All it's going to really mean is that the doctor is going to definitely be seeing more patients, right? There's going to be 30 some odd million uninsured Americans that will be in the healthcare system that aren't now. That will be more visits to the doctor, which generates more claims, of course, to the insurance companies and to Medicare and Medicaid. That brings in more revenue for the doctor, which means more billing for you as an ABS licensee in this particular business. More profits for you. That gives more time for you and for the doctor, of course, to see more patients. And so it's a great thing for the medical field, at least for those people who are helping the doctors like we train you to do on the billing side.
So Mark, really, he asked the question here, and he does ask the question here, Patrick, is how is Obamacare affecting this business, or will it? And I say yes, it does affect it, but for us that is in the medical billing field, it actually affects it for our benefit, because it actually opens much more opportunities for us and for those that are getting into this business to really get involved and build an incredible business.
Yeah, think about it this way. If you were a doctor, would you want to try to deal with all the changes that are coming this year in the healthcare field, including the new ICD-10 codes and some other things that are coming down the pike? Or would you rather focus on what you trained to do, what you love the most, and that is helping people get and stay well? That's what doctors want to focus on. So what it means for us in this industry is that they're going to be thinking even more about outsourcing that billing function to a company outside their own office, outside their own staff.
Right.
So we'll see that here in another quote here that's just about to come up, I think. All right, here we go. Here's from the Christensen Institute, which is an institute for disruptive innovation. I love that word there, that
Right.
name. They say, seize the ACA. Here we go. This is answering your question, isn't it? Seize it right now. Why? Because it's absolutely indisputable that Obamacare has introduced a level of change and chaos that will have lots of winners and losers. I think this has helped entrepreneurs. When things were in stasis, that means they're not changing, right? There was little motivation for providers to work with startups. Folks, if you get in our business, are a startup. Would you agree?
Correct.
And he's saying that when there was things that weren't changing, it was all just the same old stuff, there was no impetus there for the doctors to actually make some changes and to work with startups like yourself. But now, with the ACA, of course, that gives them that reason to move, that motivation that they need.
All right, so Patrick, Doreen's asking a question here. Are doctors willing to outsource to individuals as opposed to companies?
Well, you actually will be, the head of your own company. Yes, they will outsource to you because our licensees who are going through our training classes are going out and doing exactly what we teach them to do in positioning themselves as a part of a large network. Folks, we're the nation's largest network of independent medical billing companies out there. So when you position yourself the right way, the way we train you to, they won't know that you work out of your bedroom in your pajamas. You can do that in this business, but they won't know that. All right, so
Patrick, if I may, I would like to jump in here on Doreen's question here, and I think what will help here is that we're not just creating a bunch of medical billers. That's not what we're creating here at ABS. We're creating medical billing companies, and so it's good to have that mindset that you're not just a medical biller. You truly are a full revenue cycle management company. So if you can grasp that, as you can see what Patrick's going through of the successful business owners, you are a business owner in medical billing.
So you are a company, the head of your own company, but a part of something that's much larger than just you. You'll be able to tell doctors and office managers when you're speaking with them that if you don't know the answer to a question, you'll say, let me check with the insurance specialist back at my office. Well, folks, that's us. Behind you is our entire support staff, which we'll talk a little bit more about here later. But yeah, you're going to be much larger. You will appear to be much larger than just an individual out there doing medical billing. All right. Well, let me show you this article here that Eric ran across on 10 healthcare jobs most impacted by the Affordable Care Act. So we're kind of addressing, who was that asked that question earlier, Eric, William or somebody there, about the ACA. Will this impact this position, this profession, I should call it? Well, let's look at see what they say out of this healthcare communication news. They say, quote, healthcare support industries, especially medical records and billing companies, stand to greatly benefit from the ACA. Now, let that sink in just for a moment, folks. If you've still got questions as to whether this is going to affect this business, there's your answer right there. And it's not me and Eric saying this. This is the healthcare communication news for doctors and this profession. Then it goes on to say, as potentially 30 million new patients will need healthcare services, they'll need someone to keep track of all their medical records and their billing. In fact, the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act is commonly known as the stimulus bill in this industry. It's already resulted in a $19 billion push to electric medical records, a push that is set to increase and demand more professionals in this field. So, Eric, we're asked the question sometimes, what if is there a lot of licensees out there? Well, yes, that's because there's a lot of doctors. There's almost 1 million medical providers in the United States, folks, and that will continue to grow, of course, as the population grows. So, but do we need more people in this industry? Absolutely, because we haven't even scratched the surface in most cities, most areas with doctors who have not outsourced their billing. They're still trying to do it themselves with their own software and their own staff.
And Patrick, many of our licensees are doing billing for doctors not even in their own communities, even outside of their own state. So there is a great deal of doctors out there. You may have family in one area, and they may work with you on getting doctors in their area. So yes, I mean, it is just the field is really wide open here.
We've got people on the top of mountains in Tennessee, in little big communities of a population of 500 people that have got clients all over, not just their state, but in other states as well. Folks, there's no territorial restrictions to this business. You can build it as big as you want. And by the way, once you start doing a good job for one doctor, that doctor probably knows another doctor in another state.
Right.
And as soon as you get that referral, we'll show you how to do all of that via the internet. You don't have to travel to see them even. All right. So, did I skip one there?
No, you're right on. You're right on. You're right on the sequester. That's right.
All right. So this is the Medical Economics magazine. As you can see up there, if you look real close, it's April 25th of last year. And here was an article where they said this. And again, Eric, it's going to seem like you or I wrote this. This quote. At no time, it says in this article, in no time in medical history has there been a greater need for expertise, technology, compliance assistance, and so forth. There is simply no entity in existence positioned to meet these needs better than the third-party medical billing companies. Folks, that's you. That's what our licensees are, third-party medical billing companies. So there you go.
And really, what makes it an advantage to us is the components, the different services that we have, Patrick. I mean, I know that sometimes we got to get so focused on just medical billing, but we have electronic medical records platform. We own and operate our own clearinghouse. Many may not even know what a clearinghouse is, so just jot that name down. Ask your ABS rep; they'll explain it to you. But then all of the other services that we have, this is bigger than just doing medical billing.
Yeah, it goes way beyond just filing insurance claims, as you'll see as we go along here.
Right.
Okay, they go on in this article to say by leveraging, sorry, that didn't on the screen yet. Here it goes. By leveraging their essential functionality with the potential value adds referred to above, the third-party medical billing industry can not only be an essential cog, but can also ensure that the Medicare healthcare providers have the time and the resources to do what? To concentrate on their real priority.
Exactly.
Which is providing healthcare to our aging population, like you and I, Eric.
Exactly. Oh, great. Yep. I guess I'm getting older. I flipped over to 51 this year already.
Oh, there you go. You're over the hill. It's all downhill from here.
I'm already getting my AA, my retirement cards are in the mail.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about these terms here I've thrown up on the screen. EHR, electronic health records, everybody's heard of that, right? They are essential to meeting the new Obamacare requirements. And folks, that's important for you to know because the doctors, in order to be able to meet all of the standards of the ACA, they have to be using an electronic health record system. And Eric, how many doctors do we run across every week that are not using anything? They put it.
Matter of fact, today I talked to a doctor today who is actually still using paper, not doing anything else but doing paper.
I know people find that hard to believe, but we hear that from our licensees every week. They're shocked when they go out there and find a doctor still messing with just pieces of paper, nothing electronic even in their own office. That blows me away. Well, folks, we have the leading edge electronic medical record system that's out there. We call it EMRX. And you can ask your ABS rep a little bit more about this, but believe me, this is the cutting edge technology. There's nothing out there like this. And you, as an ABS licensee, will be able to offer that to doctors so that they can start using the thing that they have to get involved in to be able to meet all the requirements of Obamacare. And then Here comes along this year, I mentioned it earlier, the new ICD-10 codes. Now, everybody knows that there's certain numerical codes that are connected to the procedures and the diagnoses that the doctors do with their patients. These are brand new, aren't they, Eric?
Exactly. These are coming up, and boy, it's gonna be on top of these doctors in no time flat.
And it moves them from the ICD-9, which is current here in the United States, to this new
Correct.
system that's been in effect for a couple of years now in other parts of the world. But it is so complicated that the doctors are just overwhelmed. The nice thing is that our EMRX system has all these codes built into it already.
Right.
And once you see a demonstration of the electronic medical record system, folks, you're going to be, again, very impressed, I think, with what we've come up with for the doctors. This looks the way it does, by the way, because it was designed for the Apple iPad. And the doctors love that iPad, don't they, Eric?
They certainly do. They certainly do. And again, it's to help them get through seeing a patient quicker. I mean, Patrick, the reason we talk about it being on the iPad is simply because a lot of the other EMR systems that are out there are clunky. It's hard to navigate through, and so when you're showing that on the screen, that it kind of shows you a little bit of the easeability that the doctors can actually get through a visit. Now, you're going to have some doctors that want to be a little resistant on doing this EMR portions of it, but if you got to understand, this is how they're it's being demanded by the government that they have to be on these. So with that, we've made it as easy as possible for the doctors. And as you can see here, not only do we have the codes for the ICD-9s, we already have the codes for the ICD-10s as well. So this is a huge help for the doctors.
Yeah, and in fact, the doctors won't get paid
Right,
after October of this year unless they are using these codes.
right, exactly.
Okay, well, let's move on to trait number two. Trait number two is that successful business owners have their head in the clouds, but their feet firmly on the ground. Now, I love this when I read it, and I could think of all kinds of things that they were probably referring to, because if you are thinking outside of the box, then your head is probably in the clouds, right? And you have to, in business today, be thinking outside the box. You've heard that term all your life, right? Well, I'm going to illustrate that in our particular business, what that means to have your head in the clouds and have your feet firmly on the ground at the same time. Now, it just happens that they're using the term there that relates to our system. Our system is in the cloud. And all that means is that the data is stored on servers out there on the internet in different parts of the country. Redundant servers, which means they're backed up and duplicated and so forth in case one of them goes down. But the point is, folks, that it is cloud-based, and that is important for you to know that you can run this business from any internet-connected device in the world, as illustrated here. It doesn't have to be a Macintosh computer or an Apple computer. It could be a PC, Windows, Dell. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's a tablet a computer or an iPad or a smartphone from Samsung or an iPhone. They all work, and you can access the system from anywhere 24/7. Now, that's important that you know that you'll be able to see not only all the information about you and your billing from your people that are working for you, perhaps, but the doctor and their staff can be given access to it too. Eric,
Right.
you do that for some of the people that you're working
Ex-
with right now in our
Yeah,
research.
exactly. Exactly. And a matter of fact, I kind of keep referring to the demo I did today. It's so fresh on my mind. But the one of the doctors that I was talking with today said, "Can I run this from multiple locations?" And I said, "Absolutely," because it is a web-based system. And that kind of got him excited because he says, "Oh, so I don't have to go buy any more equipment that I already have." I said, "Absolutely. You don't have to do anything else." So as you're relating these traits, Patrick, I know that you're talking about these 8 different traits of successful business owners. And again, what we're trying to do here is to show you how it is related to this in the medical billing field. So it is very important to have your services as we've got them right now, which is in the cloud or on the web, and this is going to make you successful in this particular business. If you have a server-based system, it will just drag you down.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's old-fashioned technology to have it residing on your computer on a hard disk.
Right.
Now, look, not only are we, and I don't think I'm showing the right screen there. Yeah, here we go.
There you
Here's
go.
some of the
You
other
got it.
things that it will do as well. You can connect through this, of course, to all the major labs. Now, remember, the doctors are using the EMR side of this while you're doing the billing part, right? So you wouldn't need access to the labs, but the doctors do. The doctors love the drawing tool on the iPad. Literally, with their finger, they can mark and draw diagrams and even take pictures. If this doctor wanted to take a picture of that person's actual foot, they could do that, and instantly it's in our system.
Right.
Uh, they also have e-prescriptions, of course, which is the latest thing. That means the doctor doesn't have to call in or fax in anything. While he's seeing the patient, he can prescribe something and it be waiting at the drugstore before the patient even leaves his office. Uh, this is the leading technology that's out there, folks. Look, even inside our system, when the doctor wants to dictate his notes, he simply taps the little microphone there on the iPad's keyboard, virtual keyboard, and they can just speak, and the computer translates it into text. This is way beyond what doctors have even begun to think of themselves, and they love this. And then, of course, here's what I like: the virtual office visits. This is the future right here. You'll be visiting the
Exactly.
doctor for something right across your iPad or your iPhone or any device that you have out there that will connect through the internet. And the doctor, of course, can charge for those visits as well. This is already being done. Our system has that all built in already. So when I say that you have to have your head in the clouds and your feet on the ground, that means you have to have right down to the nitty gritty exactly what tools you're going to be using in your business to be successful. All right, let's talk about number three.
There you go, Pat. And just kind of just let you know where we're on time. It is at the bottom of the hour here, so we got a few to zip through here.
Yes. All right, let's move quickly. They have a laser like focus on providing real solutions to real problems in their market. Folks, the real problem that's out there is that the doctors have a problem with their revenue cycle, getting the money in from the insurance companies, from Medicare, even from the patients. You're going to be dealing with that entire what we call the revenue cycle. This is part of what we teach in our week-long training here. But basically, this illustrates that every aspect of the doctor's revenue cycle, you're going to have a solution to that. Look at this poor doctor. She is very upset. Why? Because she is looking at the fact that she has 69 rejected claims per month. That means the insurance claims that are sent through the clearinghouse, they get rejected for one reason or another. Lots of different reasons, but the point is that most doctors are having to deal with those. But Eric, they don't necessarily resubmit those, do they?
No, they don't. That's the problem. So if you got 69 rejected claims, maybe half of those get resubmitted,
Right.
and then if those are resubmitted correctly, sometimes they just give up and they don't even get paid. So
So,
when
so
we're
there's
talking about 69, we're talking about 69 visits. If you
right
really think
at,
about
at
it.
$150 a visit, say.
Exactly.
Yeah, it mounts up fast. That's why you have doctors like this out on the road. I thought that was hilarious. I found that on the internet. but,
Exactly.
but some of them are having a hard time right now. We've seen
They
doctors,
are.
haven't we, Eric? We've seen doctors say to our licensees, if you don't help me, I'm going to go out of business.
That's right.
All right, and here's another reason why they have a headache. Market analysts estimate, according to the New England Journal of Medicine, that 24 cents out of every dollar are wasted on their administrative and billing expenses, folks. Now think about this. Now some of the administrative costs, of course, are just seeing the patients and handling all the paperwork. But let's say it's just half of that. The billing expenses are half of that. That's 12 cents out of every dollar.
Right.
12%. Folks, you can slash that down to an average of 6%. Now, we'll teach this in the training how you price, but basically every medical billing company charges a percentage of the money that's actually brought into the practice. So that'll average from 4 to 8, 9%, somewhere an average of 6%. Isn't that a half of 12? That's that's
Exactly.
that's a savings for the doctor. So that's why that's important that we can have those solutions to their problems. Okay, number four, they see past the old business models and grasp the business model of the future. Now, let me tell you what I meant by this. Here's some of the old business models that are out there. First, most businesses have huge upfront investments, certainly much more than ours. Ours is very small compared to what most franchises are, for example. They have franchise fees that are ongoing. They have commercial property they have to invest in if it's a sandwich shop, for example, in inventory and equipment and all kinds of stuff, right? Folks, ABS has only a one-time lifetime licensing fee. Nothing ongoing that you pay us directly ever, ever. These are a one-time licensing fee that covers every service that you'll be able to offer to the doctor. So when you look on our website and read about all those services, that's all included in that. You'll see a little
Yeah,
picture
all
here.
the services. Yeah, I know we've all have had people ask, well, what's the cost then for EMRX, or what's the cost for Audit Guard and CodeWrite? Folks, this is all included. All these services that you're seeing here on the screen is included. And the other nice thing, Patrick, because of the old model of the franchises and everything, we're not even we don't even get any franchise fees from anybody or royalty fees. That's just
No,
not how our business model is set up.
not even support fees. Support is for life, no extra cost. Yeah, people find it hard to believe, but I'll show you why we've built our business that way here in a moment. The old business model also includes having to have inventory. You know, if you have a product-based business, you've got to have storage and management of that inventory, and all your capital is tied up. Folks, here's your inventory for this business. It's bits and bytes. It's just there is no physical product. This is a virtual business that you can run from anywhere, and the virtual product is the virtual records that are stored, on our servers. Here's what you have to have inventory wise. For this business, you have to have a computer, as Eric mentioned earlier. You have to have a connection to the internet, and you have to have a phone of some sort. That's all it takes to run this business, Eric, isn't it?
Right. Exactly. You're exactly right.
We used to say they had to have a printer, but nowadays we run this business completely, totally paperless. So there's even no need for that. And you can do faxes, of course, through your email nowadays. So anyway, another old business model is that you have to have employees. That includes payroll, taxes, benefits, turnover, daily stress of dealing with those teenagers. And with this, it's you working out of your home. Now, we do have licensees who've opened their own commercial office space, but most of them work out of their home. Now, if you do grow beyond what you can handle, and Eric, what would you say the average licensee could handle by themselves, doctor-wise?
Oh, it varies, but I mean, a good 4 to 5 doctors. It could be up to 6 to 7 if those doctors are on the EMR. But
Right.
but an average, let's just say 5. That's a good rounded number.
Yeah. So when you get beyond five, and it will continue to grow as you get referrals right from those
Right.
doctors. Now you hire a friend, a relative, somebody that you find by running a little ad on Craigslist that has some experience in medical billing. Just hire them, put them to work working out of their home. As long as they have a computer with an internet connection, you can manage them right over the web using tools that are available to you.
Correct.
Another business model that's old fashioned is travel. Who wants to get into a business that involves a loss of productive time, gasoline, insurance, maintenance, and the stress of other drivers out there on the road? Here's the only travel you might want to do with our business.
There you go. I
Yeah,
love it.
we've actually had licensees, haven't we, Eric?
Yes.
Drive around in a Winnebago, and Mary's in the back doing the medical billing through an internet connection on the top of the thing there, and George is up front driving down the road, seeing the country. You can run this business from anywhere. Most businesses, of course, are passing fads. Look in the business opportunity magazines that are out there and just look at all the different stuff. Low carb stores, VHS tape and DVD rental stores, yogurt stores. These are passing fads that might be hot today or this year, but not next year necessarily. Folks, as long as there are people and people who get sick, and as long as there are doctors, there will be a need for somebody to help process those claims and help that doctor collect the money that's due to them. Another old business model, no chance to walk away from the business. You can't take vacation for any length of time. You can't get sick. There's nothing to sell because you don't have anything of value. With this business, Eric, they can build up a portfolio of businesses, cash flow coming in that they can sell for what, 2 or 3 times that. Let's say you're bringing in $1 million a year for doctors. You can turn around and sell that to somebody for a nice sum of money.
Right.
And as far as vacations, take one. Take your laptop with you, set out on the beach if you want to, run your business from there. We've had licensees do that.
Exactly.
It's
We
that,
have.
it's that flexible.
Yeah, Well, one of the ladies that you have doing our training, she
Cynthia,
gets to
yeah.
travel out here. You bring her in from Arizona, and she travels. She comes out here. She does some of her work from here, and she teaches the classes.
Yeah, the whole week she's just sitting right there running her business in the evening there from her hotel room. Okay, the old business model also has no personal satisfaction. It's dull or hard work. There's no opportunity to work with professionals. Folks, this is a very prestigious business. You will be in your community one of the prestigious companies that deal with professionals. And you'll enjoy dealing with doctors and office managers because this is, well, it's 1/6 of our economy, right? So it's a pretty big industry. Franchises, we kind of mentioned this earlier, but with a franchise, you lose all control. You have no
Right.
control over your own business. Sometimes there's a perception problem. If another licensee or franchisee of your company does something bad, it reflects on you, right? And there's ongoing royalties of somewhere 5 to 8% of the gross revenues each month. Now, folks, I mentioned this earlier, just touched on it, but this is how our business model works. There's no royalties, but with all the services that you offer as an ABS licensee, we set the company up specifically so we make a few pennies on each transaction. So our ongoing residual back-end income as a company doesn't come from you. It comes from our technology partners that we put you into business with when you become an ABS licensee.
Okay, Patrick, let me just stop you here for a quick
Yeah,
question from
yeah,
Mark.
yeah.
And, I know it's may not too related to this, but this is a good question, and I figure about almost halfway through here. He asked the question, how competitive is this? Is it going to be nearly impossible to find customers?
That's a question we've always had since day one. And here we are in our 20th year. And I can tell you honestly that we have licensees in parts of the country that they weren't concerned about that at first because they think, oh, well, what if somebody else is out there? Eric, it doesn't really matter. We probably have a half a dozen licensees here in the Dallas Fort Worth area. We never run across those as a company when we're doing our research and development. We never have any of those licensees come and call us and say, I ran across another licensee. Folks, the market is just too huge. If you do your research, our website, for example, has a little link up there at the top that will let you find the doctors in your area. You'll see that there are thousands of doctors that are out there. And if only half of them are prospective clients for you, believe me, you can't handle them all. You cannot handle them all. We told you earlier that you need a handful, literally, of doctors, and I'll show you that here in a moment when we get to the income. I think that's coming up here.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go.
All right. So the old business model is that there's unreliable and uneven income for most businesses. There's no monthly residual. If you're selling maybe windshield repair, you got to go out and find your windshields to repair, and then next week you hope you have some more to repair. You got to go scrounging that business up. Same with carpet cleaning, concrete repair, that kind of thing. But folks, with this one, you don't have to worry about that because as long as the doctor is continuing to see patients, you're going to continue to have the ability to go out and get business. Now, I think I went to our website there. I'm going to try to put it on the screen there where everybody can see this. Let me increase that size just a little bit there. I don't know if that's coming up or not, is it, Eric?
I don't see it. It's just just you and I on the screen right now.
Here we go. I think it's coming. A little slow here because we got so many people on the webinar today,
There we
but
go.
there's it. Now, this is our website, folks. Look up at the top, go to income potential, and then just go to the first link there, medical billing income calculator. Here, you can put in your own numbers, and I won't take time to go through this in detail, but basically, this is based on the number of doctors that you would like to have as a client. We just got one in here. The number of patients they would see each day, and the average number of days they week, and the average amount of the claims. So when you submit that to our website, you're going to see how much money you'll be bringing in for that one doctor. Look at this, folks. That's a gross income of $31,000 a year or $2,600 monthly income for that one doctor. So that kind of hopefully answers some of your questions about the potential in the income in this business, folks. The old model doesn't have this kind of thing. Look, as long as this doctor continues to see patients on a regular basis, every month you'll be bringing in another $2,600 without having to go back and do anything to get that business. All right, let's get back to the slides here. All right, so we're going to go to point number 5. The traits of successful business owners. They refuse to focus on the technical aspects and know how to build their client base. Now, that's important, Eric, because a lot of people get into, let's say, the painting business because they're good with a paintbrush. They
Right.
know how to paint a house. But that doesn't make them successful if they never have any houses to paint, right?
Right.
So the technical aspect of this business is people get bogged down in the codes, for example. They say, well, should I take a course on medical coding? Should I become a coder? There's all kinds of books out there on how to start a medical billing business that you could really get bogged down in time, folks, for years or more studying it. Uh, you don't have to worry about that in this business, folks. We're going to take you through everything you need to know to get this business started in that 5-day, week-long training class that we hold here in Dallas. And you don't have to worry about the technical aspects of software because we handle all that for you. There's no upgrading or downloading and reinstalling and making sure your software is up to date. Every time you log into our cloud-based system, you're using the latest software. In fact,
Well, Patrick, I was going to say, Vicente is asking that question. How often do you upgrade the system to be compatible to computer operating systems? So
every day.
it's all the time.
Yeah, all the time. You log in today and you might see certain menus and things, and then tomorrow you might see an extra one up there because we've added that. We can upgrade on our servers overnight so that the next time you're logging in, you're using the latest one. And at the end of our training, by the way, folks, we do give you a certificate of training that says you are a medical reimbursement specialist. So you do get a certification in medical billing from us at the end of that week as well. So let's get back to that point that we were just making there about they refuse to focus on the technical aspects, and they know how to build their client base. Because folks, we mentioned earlier, the biggest challenge of any new business that's out there is how to get clients, and we know that that's the question that most people have about our business, like they should with any business. How do I get the clients? Well, one of the ways is we do that, we give you professionals, experts who not only are expert trainers, but who've actually been out in the field signing up doctors. Eric is a director of our research and development, and he is one of our trainers. And he is the one that shares with you what he has found that actually works out there to get clients in the field. Then, as we mentioned earlier, we bring in a licensee that's been with us for 5 years now.
Right.
Cynthia comes from the Phoenix area, and she has built her business to a huge medical billing company. And yet she comes down, and we let her share her expertise during the week, along with Eric and myself. Then we provide you in your kit, your package from us as a licensee, all the marketing materials you're going to need to be able to go out and find clients. We teach you how to use each one of these flyers, the DVD that you see there that are testimonials from doctors, my book that was written specifically as a marketing tool. These are all included in your package. By the way, we go through my book in detail as to why it is the marketing tool of the century for any business, because for your cost of about $3 a book, you can hand those out to doctors to educate them from a third party like myself, not you, in other words. Then we provide all the slideshows that you need to be able to make presentations of any kind, including using flip charts and iPads and things like that. We've got all that developed already, folks. This is not something that you're just going to send a letter out and say, hey, I just opened up a medical billing company. Do you need any? We've thought this through and have the tools. We develop new marketing pieces all the time. Here's one we just developed last month on why doctors outsource their billing. Testimonials from actual doctors as to how our system has helped them through our licensees, of course. Remember, this has not got our company name on any of this marketing material. We also teach you how to use the latest in all of that social media stuff that's out there. Some of them are things you should get involved in, some not so much. And we'll teach you the differences between all those. Folks, this is a consulting approach. If you're scared of sales of any kind, that's good, because if you try to use sales techniques with your prospective doctors in your area, it will fall flat on its face. All you have to do is be willing to help other people solve their problems. We go in and teach you to do a practice analysis, for example. Once you've got that information from the office manager, you can come back and prepare a very professional proposal that we've already got laid out in a template for you. You just change a few numbers in it for that particular prospect. Then you present that to the doctor in a very professional folder, and you explain to them exactly how you can help them. And they either see the need for what you've got or they don't. And Eric, what is our close rate right now on the demos that we're doing for doctors?
We're
For
closing about for if we do two, we're closing at least one of those. So we're well over 50%.
yeah,
And Patrick, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. You just mentioned the practice analysis, and I actually have one right here in front of me. And on one of the questions it asks is how do you get claim info to your billing company? And I just want you to see what's written right there.
I'm looking.
Uh,
Courier,
courier
a courier.
from
So the doctor's office hires a courier and pays them to take this pile of papers to their biller.
exactly. And that was done here just 12/19, 2013.
That is incredible. Well, I mentioned the demos just now, so let me explain a little bit about that. Or, Eric, you want to explain what we're talking about there?
Sure. Folks, this is also a lifetime portion of what you get here with us at American Business Systems. You may have heard me mention earlier that I've been on a couple of demos with some doctors here the last couple of weeks. And this is our way of helping you build your business. And so it's important for us to make sure that the doctor understands iClaim and EMRX and what you will be doing for them to actually collect their money. So what we do, we have your doctor on the phone along with you and us all through like what we're doing right here through a go-to webinar, and we're showing them a step-by-step processes of what you'll be doing and the way that the system is going to actually work for them in collecting that money. I mean, Patrick, I just sent you one of those. I recorded one of those not too long ago for you to see, and you actually heard the office manager step through and go, wow, this is something that we really do need to have.
Yeah, so folks, I don't know of any other company that does something like this. We basically are making the presentation to the doctor, answering all their questions while we're on that demonstration with the doctor, and you're simply sitting and listening to the entire thing happen. Now, you can either be in the doctor's office with the doctor, or you could be at your home office just watching the demonstration, listening to what's actually said by us. Our staff is doing this for you. I've never heard of anything like it, and that's why we close so many doctors, new clients for our licensees, because we're the experts at this. We've been doing it for 20 years now. And then if none of that appeals to you at all that I just talked about as far as getting clients, we have a sales rep training system. We teach you how to find, hire, and train and pay your sales reps that will go out and get clients for you. And by the way, it's on a 100% commission only basis. So you don't have to pay them anything until they've brought in a check from the doctor. Now, folks, I'm kind of wrap up here by saying this. All of the following ABS licensees that I'm going to flash up here on the screen, I did some of this last week. They have one thing in common, and I want to show you some of them first. Oops, sorry. Here we go. This is Thomas Chu receiving an award for 4 doctors in his first 8 weeks. This is Carla Rich and Emily Connolly, single moms, both working from their home. Deb Boehner has full-time staff and commercial office space and 10 doctors. Corey Craig replaced her 6-figure income within 7 months. Terrence Patterson is a business coach who works from his home and is on our board of directors, by the way. Christy and Brad Dunn run their billing business from their home in rural Tennessee. Benjamin Ishkahoff has 2 offices in Manhattan with 30 employees and over 200 practices. Cherise Moreland paid off her investment with us within 6 months, and she works from her home. Carla Lee Martinez signed up 2 doctors in the first 60 days. Joe and Jennifer Catano, I'm going to be interviewing them in a week or two, Eric. They have 7 practices, 6-figure income, and both work from their home. Tracy Clark is in Kentucky. She signed a sleep center within 2 months. Oh, I forgot to finish the rest of that. That bills over $80,000 a month. Cash and Jatika Tandon have 3 offices in 3 cities with 18 employees. Okay, so here's what's common amongst all those people. I'll just let you read it. Everybody paying attention to your screen? Something very important is on your screen right now. None of them had a medical background, and none of them had a clue as to how to get a doctor to sign up as a client. So folks, that should be the least of your worries, because We've got that figured out again after 20 years dealing with people. All right. Okay, we got 5 minutes. Number six, the trait number six is they understand the necessity in today's market to have a unique sales proposition. What is ours? Well, ours is that you have more to offer than just medical billing. You're not going to be competing with other medical billers because all they do is medical billing. You have all the services we've already mentioned that you can find out more about on our website and through our virtual brochure that will tell you that you have many, many more things. The biggest thing, I think the biggest surprise, Eric, for people who come to our live workshop, don't you, is that they see all that we go through and the money that can be made with these
Right.
services, and they
Right.
didn't realize that it was as big a marketplace as it is. All of these services, folks, you can offer to the doctor. They're great door openers. They're great ways to make residual income, all of them, on a monthly basis. And so we've got many, many things to offer the doctors. So, folks, it boils down to this. Your unique selling proposition in our marketplace is that you have the only complete solution for a doctor's revenue cycle management. You have the billing system. You have the electronic medical record system. Then, of course, we are the clearinghouse. And, of course, you've got us behind you as the people who are going to support you. And with all those things, you can't help but be successful. That's why so many of our licensees will tell you that this is the greatest opportunity that's out there. Number seven, successful business owners recognize the essential need for ongoing support and motivation. Folks, if you're looking at any other business, be sure and ask them about ongoing support. That doesn't mean after like 1 year. What happens after the first year? How much are you going to have to pay for support after that? With us, there is a one-time licensing fee, and that includes all the support you will need from now on, starting with our own staff member here, Casey Thompson. He's our director of support. But behind Casey is a huge network of support for you. For example, we have actual people who are licensees. They own their own business, just like you, but they're also professionals. For example, I showed Terrence Patterson earlier. Terrence has a degree in medical healthcare management. We have Dr. Bustle, Sally Combest. Sally Combest, she is a medical doctor. We also have another doctor, Dr. Bustle. I threw him in there for no extra charge. And then we have Jeanette Weiler, who is a certified professional coder. These are people that can support you and help you way beyond what even our own staff can help. Then we have all of our technology partners. Behind all of these services that you're offering is a whole host of other people that can support you. We have over 100 people that are in our support department when you include all of our technology partners. So, folks, you never have to worry about the support. It is ongoing. You have access to our licensee forum where you can communicate with other licensees all over the country. That's a private forum set up for our licensees. You have access to our licensee support website, which is shown right here, that lets you get in access to all sorts of stuff. You have support via a toll-free number. You have email support, and we have live online chat during business hours that you can chat with our support people as well. So the support is always there for our licensees. And Eric and I continue to produce continuing educational webinars for our licensees. What did we do last year, Eric? Probably at least 40 or 50 of those. And,
Exactly.
and we're continuing to plan that this year. Almost every week we have something planned for our licensees. We did one last week on the ICD-10 codes, for example. So these are ongoing. How much do they cost you? Nothing. This is all included in that one-time licensing fee.
All right, so number eight, we're gonna press it in here. So number eight, they have an innate filter for opinions, criticisms, and jealousy.
Yeah, now I thought this was funny, and I didn't know how to relate it to our business other than to show this. This is me and my family back in 1987. When we started this, Eric, we did have some questions from our relatives about what in the heck are you doing starting a
Right.
medical billing business. And I even had some relatives that thought that they knew what was best and gave us some. I just put it this way, it was some negative input. And we just ignored all that because we knew that the market was there. We knew it was huge. And we just didn't take the word of our my brother-in-law, for example. That's not him, by the way. But folks, your brother-in-law is not necessarily your best source for business advice. Would you agree? So you can't take the word of people who are not successful because they may not necessarily want to see you be successful, right? I'm just being straightforward with you there. Talk to people who are successful, like some of the licensees that I showed you earlier. You can talk to any of our folks that are on, taking calls from, prospective licensees. This is why I wrote this book, by the way. It's all about what's going on inside your head right now as to whether or not you can be successful in this business or in any business. Take the advice of somebody like Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He says the number one thing people can do to increase their wealth is to start a part-time business. Folks, you can start this part-time and then move to full-time when you can afford to quit your job. Or like Duncan McPherson, co-founder and CEO of Pareto Systems, he says working for a traditional corporation has become the risky option. Working for yourself has become the new job security. Folks, the only person that can fire you is you if you own your own business. So you don't have to worry about those pink slips. Take the word of experts such as the people who publish Entrepreneur Magazine in their startup book called Start Your Own Medical Claims Billing Service. They are recommending, and we're the only medical billing company, training and support company that they recommend as somebody to look into as a business opportunity. If you just want to, not do it yourself, but not recreate the wheel, just buy a package like ours. So anyway, thought I'd throw all that in here. Well, Eric, we're going to finish it up here real quick. I'm going to skip that article and get right to this slide here. Let's tell them about the training and whatever else is left there.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, folks, we get asked this a lot. You do training every month, folks. We do training every 6 weeks. So if those that are attending next week, you're right at the beginning of the year. That'll be in January. After that, 6 weeks from now, after that training, actually puts us in the first week of March. So there's really no training in February. So, but that gives you plenty of time to get some things in order, get your funds together, get your rooms reserved here at the hotel. So give us a call here at 866-565-8413. Talk with your ABS rep that you're dealing with. We'll get you signed up, get you ready for the next training. For those that would like to try to get into next week's training, Patrick, I think we could probably squeeze 1 or 2 more people in there. I'm not real sure.
I just heard from Rhodey. There's 3 seats open. So
okay.
Yeah.
So there are some seats available. So if you want to try to get into January's training, you can certainly get involved there, and then also participate in our celebration here of 20 years by receiving a mini iPad that Patrick will be handing out that first day of training.
Yeah, or maybe we wait till the second day.
Or yeah, whichever day it might be. And lastly, this guarantee is actually written in our contract with you. So Patrick, I'm going to let you take it from here, and you explain to them why you give a 100% money-back guarantee.
I do this because I didn't know how else to convince people that what we had was for real. Because it sounds too good to be true to some people. Everything that we do. And so I said, well, look, guys, let's not just offer a guarantee if they come for a day and they don't like it. Let's let them sit for the whole week. Let's let them see every technique that we use and teach. That's the only way they're going to know for sure whether or not this is something they really want to do, right? So we open it up, let you see everything. We give you all the handouts, all the references, everything that you need to start this business on your own if you wanted to. Because if at the end of the week you don't like this business for any reason, you simply ask us for a refund and we give you 100% of the money that you gave to us, every penny. Now, how do we do that? Well, it's because in 20 years we've only had that happen 3 times. So we're pretty confident of what we've got. And if you watch some of the testimonials out on our blog, you'll see why at the end of our trainings. But that's why we do that. That's the way I would want people to do business with me. And so I just decided to do that for the people who come to our training.
Exactly. Well, folks, we're going to be wrapping it up here. And there were some questions that did not get answered today.